Hi guys, missed you last week. We had spring break, so I didn't post any videos. The art project that I'm bringing you today can be done by 1st through 6th grade. It would just need to be modified according to your abilities, whatever you can do. You are going to need a Sharpie and crayons and brown paper. It can be construction paper, it can be brown paper bag. That's what I'm using. So let's go ahead and get started. So I am using half of a small paper lunch sack, and I want to create a rough edge around my map. This is my treasure map, one of the treasure maps I did, and you can see I kind of created this rough edge. And to do that, I just took the paper and I tear right along the edge. And we're gonna wanna tear all the way around this paper. After you have your paper torn all the way around and you have these rough edges, we are going to take a Sharpie and we are going to create a border around, all the way around the edge of our paper. So I just start in one corner, and I'm going to kind of follow along the torn edge of this paper like this, leaving a border all the way around. After we do this, we're going to separate our paper kind of in half. Now you can do different options. I don't know if you can see on this one. Here I created my land and I did my ocean over here. If you just want to have a smaller island, you can, and have more ocean. It's up to you. I'm going to do kind of the same thing I did before. I'm going to start at the top, and I'm just going to randomly kind of add this divide. So this is going to divide my land from where my ocean is. So the first thing I'm going to do in my water, where the ocean is, I'm gonna make my ship. I'm gonna do mine down here. You can do yours up here. You can do it in the middle. It's up to you. And I'm just gonna make an angled line like this. I will make a straight line that goes out like that. And then I'm going to make another angled line that goes like this. Now these lines should be going in opposite directions. So you have one going out this way and one going out this way. From here, I'm going to make a line that goes inward from each of these points. I'm going to make another angled line on each side like this. And then I'm going to do a line that goes across like that. So this is going to be our ship. Now we need to add some sails. To add the sails, I'm going to come up a bit from this line. You make a curved line like that. A straight line like that, another curved line like this, and then you connect them like that. And I'm going to make 3 in the middle and then another 1 or 2 on the side. You add as many sails as you want to. Maybe you want to have 2 over here, 3 here, and then 2 here. Actually, I think I'm going to do that. So once I do that, I'm not adding the pole yet. We're going to put the pole on that the sails connect to at the very end of creating our ship. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to add kind of a thick line in between the sails. This is going to be the mast. This is what holds the sails. And then over here, I'm going to add a couple extra little flags on here. So I'm going to do just a small line that comes up. And then I'm going to make kind of a pennant flag there. And then on this side, I'm going to do a flag pole. And this flag is going to be my, I guess, the flag that you would know. Let's say I was a pirate. I'm doing a pirate ship because when I think of a treasure map, I think of pirates. I'm just adding a little thing on there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just a little tiny thing for myself. You can do stripes, you can do polka dots, you can do whatever you want on yours. Up here, I am going to add this sort of open box. This would be the crow's nest. A lot of times a sailor or even a pirate would be up in the crow's nest for lookout. So that's what I'm doing up there. Down here in the ship, I'm going to add these little circles like this. And these would be windows or portholes in the ship. Just little details that kind of make the ship look a little more authentic. So now that I have my ship, I want to make it look like it's on the water. And so I'm just going to add these little ripples and then a couple of what looks like kind of wave splashes coming out from the sides of it. And then I'm going to add some more little details to this. So I'm going to add a shark down here. To create a shark, you just do a curve like this, and then you come back down, and then I'm going to add a ripple like that. I'm going to do another pod of sharks up here, I think. And to do that, I'm going to just curve, come back down. So I don't even know if it would be called a pod of sharks. I think sharks tend to travel, well, great whites anyway, travel alone. So after I have those sharks, I'm going to add something up here. Now, I did the octopus before. I really like that look. So I'm going to do another octopus. You can add as many sharks as you want to. Maybe you want to do another little shark in the corner. I think I will do that. Be sure you add these little lines underneath so it looks like the shark fin is coming out of the water. Now over here to do the octopus, I'm just going to make this rounded. This is going to be a big octopus. Rounded head, and then I'm going to do the squiggle line so it looks like it's coming out of the water. And then I do, for tentacles, I just make a squiggle that comes out to a point, and then I come back down following this curve. And I'm going to repeat that just a couple times. You don't have to do 8. You can if you want to. I'm not doing 8. I'm just going to do a few like this. So I have 4. I am going to add some little circles on here so it looks like the octopus has its tentacles and the suction cups that would be on the octopus tentacles. And now this guy is going to be looking a little bit irritated that people are in his ocean. He's mad, okay? After we have that, we can add some more wave details. So you can just kind of add these wave details like that in a few different spots to look like the ocean waves. And I'm going to add another couple here. And then underneath that, you're just going to want to add these little ripples that go like this, all the way across the bottom like that. And then we're going to add just some very random squiggles in here like this that are going to be the waves or little ripples in the ocean. We'll color those in just a little bit. So now that we have our ocean side, we are going to want to create our land side. And you can see that I kind of did the same thing on these. I put them in different spots. I have a volcano, I have a palm tree, I have an X that marks the spot for my treasure chest. I have a mountain range on this one. This one I didn't do the mountain, oh, I did the mountain range down here, excuse me. So I'm going to put an anchor here. So I'm just going to make a circle with a line that comes down like this. And then I'm going to put this here because anchors would have that line up there. And then I'm going to curve like this, down like that, and color that in with my Sharpie. If you have a black pen, you can do it with a black pen too. And then I'm going to create a compass. My compass I'm going to put right in here. I have a super big compass here. I don't need to do it that big on here. See, I have a smaller paper on this one. I'm going to do a compass over here. I want it to be big, but it doesn't have to be huge. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to make a diamond shape. And then I'm going to put a line right down the middle, going both directions. So it kind of looks like a kite right now. Coming out from the side, I'm going to make a dot, and then I'm going to come out from this side about the same distance. And then I'm actually going to connect this dot to this original diamond shape like this. And I'm going to put a line in the middle like that. And then I'm going to come in these corners and I'm just going to add triangle in each corner, and I'm going to put a line down the middle of the triangle also, just like this. And now we're going to put our north, south, east, and west, or north, south, west, east, whichever direction you want to do. This one I did west and east. This one I did east and west. We all know north and south. You do it how you want to. It's up to you. It doesn't have to be perfect. But some ideas for lettering, just to show you what I did. On this one, I kind of curved my N like that. I did the east, the west, and the south pretty much the same. But this N, I came up, down, and then curved out. I like that N a lot, so I'm going to stick with that. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that right here. This is my north, the south, west, and east. After I have that, I'm going to create these sort of lines that will connect, make it look rounded. To do that, I add a curve from the N to the W, not connecting them though. And then I'm going to do another line following along, leaving space, and then I'm going to connect those two like that. And I'm going to do the same thing in each of the spaces between these letters. Okay, so we have our compass. Now we're going to add some of the other details. Now I'm going to come all the way up here because I'm going to have my treasure be buried way up here, away from where I'm anchoring my ship. So I'm just going to, I want to have a land marker first. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a palm tree. Just making two lines that come down. You can make them straight, you can curve them, whatever you want to do. And then I'm going to come from here and I'm going to make all of these sort of curved lines that come out like this. And I'm just going to add these little jagged, see how I'm coming down from the middle? All I'm doing, and I'm going to turn my paper. I like to turn my paper. So I'm going to add these little zigzags all the way down this line for my palm tree. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want it to look like palm fronds. Okay. So here's my palm tree. I am going to add some coconuts in there, a couple circles right in the middle too. And then I'm going to make a bit of a kind of a zigzag here to look like it's on the ground. And I'm going to add a couple coconuts down here too. Okay, so I have my palm tree, and now this is going to be a land marker for where my treasure is. So my treasure box I'm going to do over here. Excuse me, I'm going to make a rectangle. I'm going to round this end here, and I'm going to add another little rounded area there. I'm going to curve these lines inside so it looks like it's rounded. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to add my base to my treasure. So here's my treasure chest. You can do whatever you want in here. You can add little circles that you can color different colors like gemstones and have gold around it. I think that's what I'm going to do. Whatever you want to do inside of there for your treasure chest. And then I'm going to make an X. Now you can have an X down here. You can have an X up here. You can have an X that kind of goes through where the treasure is, and I think I'm going to do that today. I did it a little differently last time. You can see down here and down here, but I'm going to do mine just a little bit differently. And so I am going to make an X like this and like that, but this time I'm going behind my treasure chest. I'm going to do this by creating an X, right? Act like you're going through the treasure chest, but don't. You don't want to go over that. And then you're going to color this in black. And you can use a crayon at this point. You can use a Sharpie. I have my Sharpie, so I'm just going to use that. Okay. So now I have my X here. I am going to create a couple of other landmarks. So I love the volcano. I definitely want to do a volcano. So I think I'm going to add my volcano kind of down here a little bit. You just make a curved line that goes out like this. And then from the top, you're going to make a curved line that goes under. And then this curved line is going to curve out that way. And you just kind of add a little bit of a... You can do it more curved if you want to. From here, I'm going to make these lava drips going down the mountain like that, or down my volcano. And then from here, I'm going to make these quick little spews. This is lava coming out of the volcano. So the next thing I'm going to do is create my mountains. And I'm just going to come up. These are going to be just very rounded. They don't have to be perfect. You're just creating a slight mountain range. And then I might come up this way with a little bit of a, like that. I'm going to add land out on the sides. And I'm even going to add a little bit of a jagged edge here, which is going to be the base. And I'm going to put caps on these mountains like this. So we can color those in with white for snow. Down here, I actually want to add a little bit of this ground detail for our volcano. This could be little bushes growing in, whatever. You can add another palm tree if you want to. Maybe you want to have just a small one kind of off to the side over here as another land marker. You can do that. And then you have another little land marker. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to add the steps for our treasure map. If we start here at the anchor, you're just going to make these dots that kind of curve around like this. So let's say they end up going to the volcano and then they're like, oh, I don't want to do that. And then they come around here, these little steps like this. They end up at the mountains. Say they're going around the mountains like this. The circle like this would indicate they got a little bit lost. They're going to come over here. Maybe they had to come back down by the mountains like this because they got lost. And then they come back around. And they end up at the treasure. So now after you have all of your footprints set up and your map drawn, you can move on to coloring. I'm going to use crayons. You can use colored pencils. I wouldn't use markers because you want to kind of blend the colors just a little bit. The first color I'm going to start with is white, and I'm just going to color in the sails of my pirate ship first. These crayons show up really nicely on this brown paper. I really like it. So I have that, and then I'm going to just add a little bit of white on some of these areas with the water, where the sun would hit the water, like that, on these waves. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not being super careful with this. I'm just adding a bit of white in here to lighten it up. Gonna do the same thing on all of these waves. And I'm gonna add some, actually a little bit of white just at the tips of these mountains that I have here. So once I have that, I will move on to coloring in my sharks. You could do whatever. You could do your boat first, you could do your sharks first, it's up to you. I'm just gonna go ahead and color in my sharks. I'm gonna make those gray, like that. I will color in my octopus next, and I'm gonna make my octopus pink. And I even want to add just a touch of white under here for the water. So there's my octopus. Then I'm going to come in with a nice dark, I think I'm going to go with this antique brass. It's shiny. I have some of those crayons that have the glitter in them, so they're really shiny looking. And I'm just going to add this color to my boat. These little holes right here that you'd look out of. Windows basically. And then I'm going to add some blue. Now I have a couple of different blues that I want to use. I have this nice turquoise color that I'm going to use right around the white under here, and I'm just gonna bring that down a little bit from each of these areas that look like waves like this. Just adds a little bit of detail underneath the white of the waves. And I'm going to do that all the way down my paper. So I have a little bit of white and a little bit of this blue in each of these areas. And now I'm going to come in with this little bit of darker blue, and I'm actually just going to lightly add some of this around the light blue and that white. Now that I have that, I do have both of my flags here, and I think I'm going to color one of these red. Actually, I think I'm going to do both of them red. I like how the red looks with the pirate ship. So now that I have this side of my treasure map finished, I am going to go in and I'm going to color this area of my map. I'm going to start with the compass. And I am going to use red, white, blue, and yellow for my colors on my compass. I don't know why, I just like how those colors look together for this compass, like that. And I'm going to do the same thing in these. There we go. So this is going to be my compass. And now I'm going to color in my mountain range. And I'll move on to my volcano. Now my volcano, I want it to look like this is lava coming out of there. I want to color in this area of my volcano. After I have my volcano, I have some grass over here, and I'm going to go ahead and just add some green right along the line of my grass on both sides, like this. And I have my green already, so I am going to just color in my palm trees. I am going to go ahead and color the trunk brown, like that. And then my coconuts. And I'm going to do, this is going to be like sand, so I'm not going to want to do that green. I'm going to add a little bit of the same brown color very lightly, and then I'm going to take a lighter color and I'm going to go over that just a little bit, like that. It kind of blends that brown in just a bit. So now I'm at the area where my treasure chest is. So now that I have that, I want to color in the rest of my X here, and I'm just going to use black Sharpie. If you have a crayon, you can use a black crayon, any marker that you want to use, really. So that's my X marks the spot. And now I'm just going to add a little bit of color detail in here, and I am going to take the brown that I used for my mountains and my palm tree, and I'm just lightly going to add some brown, just like I did with the blue in the background for the water. After I do that, This is the part that most people have a hard time with. You actually have to take you don't have to if you don't want to do this part. I like this part. I feel like that's what gives it that sort of old antique-y look like that. I'm going to crumple it up. You're just gonna, this paper is really sturdy, so you don't have to worry about it tearing. But when you open it, you do want to be careful. So you kind of want to slowly open it up. Don't try to rush it because you can tear it that way. But this paper does really well. And this is thicker than the smaller bags that I use. So this larger paper bag is thicker, but it kind of makes it look like it's worn. It looks old, it looks vintage. And then what you can do around the outside edge here, just to make it look like it's a little bit older, a little bit worn in. You can use black, you can use brown, you can use whatever color you want to. I'm gonna go with that same color brown, and I'm just gonna go right along this edge like this. Once you have your outer edge done like this, you can add maybe a little bit of stain to this paper. I have ink pads that I could use to kind of rough it up a little bit. You can leave it the way it is. I like mine the way that it is. I really like how the creased paper makes it look more authentic. I think this is super cute. I really love the idea when I saw it. And so I wanted to bring this to you guys. I hope that you really enjoy making this and you use your imaginations and go online and look at some of the ideas before you put stuff down. You can always do what I did, but if you want to have more creative expression with it, feel free to do that. Thank you so much for tuning in to this art project today, and I look forward to bringing you more.